Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So today, finally, President Joe Biden is going to sign that bill into law that is going to raise the debt ceiling over the next 2 years and avert a government shutdown at the same time, with just 2 days to go before that June 5th deadline. So of course, that is very good news. Of course, there is one provision in the bill that could affect millions of Americans that we're going to be going over, even those on Social Security benefits. So we're going to be quickly going over that new provision that is going to be in that bill. Also, next month, a critical date is coming up for those on Social Security. We're going to be going over what that date is and what that could mean for the future of your Social Security benefit. But before I go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so once again, today, Saturday, President Joe Biden is going to sign that bill into law that passed both the House and the Senate to raise the debt ceiling over the next 2 years. So they're not going to have to deal with this until 2025. We're not going to have this drama once again take place next year in Biden's final year of his 4-year term presidency. Depending on whether or not he's going to win his re-election, we'll just have to wait and see. But he is going to sign that bill into law. Of course, there are some provisions that we're not really sure what exactly they agreed to. We're going to be going over one of the very important key provisions, one of the key changes to one of the key federal programs that a lot of people receive, even those on Social Security benefits. But according to CNBC, Biden says debt ceiling bill avoids catastrophic economic default. So President Joe Biden on Friday evening gave his first address from the Oval Office to discuss a bill to lift the debt ceiling while capping federal spending, calling it a, quote, critical agreement. He plans to sign the bill Saturday. He said, quote, no one got everything they wanted, but the American people got what they needed. We averted an economic crisis and an economic collapse. So he's exactly right there. Democrats didn't get exactly what they wanted, which were no cuts at all in federal spending, and Republicans didn't get what they wanted in this bill as well, which would have been even more cuts in federal spending. So at the end of the day, they did have to reach a compromise. However, Democrats did have to give into one key provision which they really weren't too happy about, and that was having more work requirements in order to receive SNAP benefits. So of course, a lot of Americans could be impacted by this depending on your age, especially those on Social Security benefits, where those benefits right now as they are really aren't enough to get by. So of course, this is just going to be another hoop to jump through for a lot of Americans, even those on Social Security benefits. So we're going to be talking about who this is going to impact, the age group, and what exclusions there could be from these work requirements. So according to CNN, here's who would have to work for government benefits and who wouldn't under the debt ceiling package. So this is for the SNAP program. So currently, right now, before this bill was passed, it was for able-bodied adults without dependents who are between ages 18 and 49. They can only receive food stamps for 3 months out of every 3 years unless they work or participate in other activities at least 20 hours a week. So this is what's going to be new now. Now it's going to be the number of people subject to the mandate will be broadened in phases so that by 2025, it will apply to those between the ages of 18 and 54. So instead of 18 and 49, it is now going to be between the ages of 18 and 54. Now this is going to phase out in 2030. So by the time 2030 rolls around, it's going to go back to between 18 and 49. They would have to make this permanent if they wanted to keep it the way they changed it in this debt ceiling bill. The article goes on to say, but veterans and people experiencing homelessness of all ages, as well as adults under age 25 who were previously in foster care, will be exempt under the debt ceiling bill. These provisions will expire in October 2030. The legislation also tightens the share of unused exemptions states can carry over from year to year. Nearly 750,000 adults ages 50 through 54 could be newly subject to the expanded work requirement and at risk of losing their nutrition assistance under this work requirement, according to an analysis by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Nearly half of those newly at risk are women. Many of these recipients have very low incomes and have health conditions that could limit their ability to work. The CBO estimates that overall, because of the new exemptions, some 78,000 more people would actually be enrolled in the SNAP program. Research, however, shows that work requirements don't increase labor force participation among safety net recipients, according to Catherine Hempstead, a senior policy advisor with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, who recently authored a research brief on the economic and health consequences of work mandates. What's more, the additional paperwork discourages participation in government assistance programs and increases the cost of administering the benefits, she found. Plus, the mandates don't address the barriers to employment faced by many recipients who don't already work. So again, those are going to be the new work requirements in order to receive SNAP benefits. It's just going to be expanded to those up to age 54. And again, there's going to be exemptions for that, which if you're a veteran, you would be exempted. If you're homeless, you're going to be exempted. But as we can see here, the research showed that having actually new work requirements doesn't necessarily all the time actually motivate people or get people to work or, participate in these work requirements, whether it be job training, education, or anything like that. Instead, basically what this person is saying is that unfortunately it might just cause a lot of people to lose their food assistance, and you just really hate to see any American at any age go hungry. But what do we think about these new work requirements? Do we like them? Do we dislike them? Are we mixed? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Okay, so also next month, like I mentioned earlier on today's video, a very critical date is going to be coming up for all Social Security beneficiaries. It doesn't matter if you're receiving Social Security retirement, SSI, or SSDI. These are going to be some critical dates coming up that we absolutely must look out for. So we have July, of course, next month. I can't believe that we're already almost halfway through this year. It is just flying by so far. So of course, July is going to be a very important date to look out for. And more like August. August is going to be the more important date that we have to look out for, but July is going to be a very critical month for Social Security beneficiaries. And this is why, because if we look at this calendar here, this is how the Social Security Administration determines how big of a cost of living adjustment all Social Security beneficiaries will be receiving. So back in 2023, of course, we all received a almost record-beating cost of living adjustment of 8.7%. It was absolutely massive, but of course, inflation was much higher last year. It has slowly come down this year, so we'll just have to wait and see. So how they figure these cost of living adjustments is they use a figure for inflation called the CPI data, the CPIW. And how they figure this is they're going to take the CPIW data from the third quarter of this year, which is going to be July, August, and September, and they're going to compare this data to the same third quarter CPI data from last year of the third quarter, July, August, and September, and whatever the difference is going to be the cost of living adjustment. So the first month coming up is July. That's next month. However, we don't actually know the July data until August because it tracks 1 month behind. So on August 10th, we will know what the CPIW data for inflation came in at. It's going to be August 10th, once again for July, but July, where it's really going to be a key month to see how prices are. Are they trending upwards? Or are they still trending downwards? And of course, this month, we're actually going to get a report on June 13th. We're going to know the inflation data for May. So it's going to kind of signal how things are going. Are prices still trending downwards? Are they going upwards? And then, of course, other key dates coming up other than August 10th, which will give us the July data. We also have September 13th, which is going to give us the data for August. And then we're going to have October 12th, which is going to give us the data for September. Now, on October 12th, once we know the data for the CPIW inflation numbers, which is going to be for the month of September, on October 12th, we'll know exactly what the COLA is going to be for 2024. Now, we have certain predictions coming out. We've had predictions pretty much all year, but of course, these are all just predictions. They're not 100% guaranteed numbers. They could either be higher or even lower, so definitely keep that in mind as well. However, there is a website called the Senior Citizens League, and they've been coming out with predictions all year. And in their latest prediction, they came out with a prediction of a cost of living adjustment of, get it, 3.1%. So this is obviously going to be much lower than the 8.7% cost of living adjustment that we all received this year, but that's because inflation, of course, has been coming down quite a bit. So Right now, 3.1% is what the prediction is according to the Senior Citizens League. But again, we won't know for sure until October 12th, and that's when we're going to know the CPIW data for September, and then we're going to be able to compare the third quarter CPIW data for July, August, and September of this year, and we're going to be able to compare it to what it was last year. Now, one thing we know for sure, it is going to be a whole heck of a lot lower than the 8.7% that we received this year, but whether it's 3.1%, whether it's 2.5%, or maybe even a little bit higher, maybe closer to 4%, we'll just have to wait out. But again, July, next month, is going to be the first month in tracking of the CPIW inflation data. So it is going to be very important to look out for. Are prices trending downwards? Are they going upwards? We'll just have to wait and see. But that's all the news that I have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.